Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today, flying the Cirrus SR22, we're back up in Alaska. This time going out of Prospect Creek, new airport for us. And we're going up to Arctic Village. That'll be the first time that we fly into there. I think we've flown out once. Anyway, about 140 miles. It's going to be about a 48-minute flight, not an hour and 18 minutes like you see here. Going at 17,000 feet, climb aboard, let's go flying. Yes! There's snow on the ground, there's snow on the trees, there's snow on the mountains. Oh man, that's great. It's also really cold here right now. Oh, this time we have to do a regular startup. So the first thing we'll do, yeah, park and brake is set. Turn the battery switches on. AHRS is aligning. CDI set to GPS. We can get some of this stuff set up right now. I believe that weather setting is not correct. Let me double check. Actually, I don't even know if Prospect Creek has weather at the airport. It does not. Bettles is the closest, and Coldfoot is also close, but... No, well this is saying it is correct. Okay. And it's warmed up slightly, minus 16 Celsius. That's, I believe 3 degrees Fahrenheit above zero. This is cold. Now, what you can do to check the altimeter setting, if you don't have an explicit number to reference, is you just check what does your altimeter say. Right now it says 1,080 feet. And if we look at the sectional chart, I don't have that on my other screen, the airport elevation on that is 1,095. So it's pretty close. So we'd be within 100th. So we're good there. Alright, AHRS is aligned. Let's go ahead and get our autopilot configured here. Set that to 17,000. FLC to 110. Set the heading bug, but for now we'll set nav. What we'll do is push the heading bug once we get out onto the runway. Okay, let's see what we do next here. Let me take a look. Been a little while. Alright, we'll do the strobe lights. That needs to come on. Pitot heat will need to come on once we get the engine started up. Guess we can turn it on and check that it works. Yep. Indicator's good. Do we have any ice on the airplane? No. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's just cold. Alright, let's go ahead and engage the, not the starter, but we'll turn the magnetos to both. Alright, mixture is full rich, turn the boost pump on, bump the throttle full forward, and here it is, kind of jittering again. Let's back it off, bump it just a little bit forward. Fuel selector. Clear cautions. Alright, clear left, clear right. Let's get the sucker started. Clear! Yeah. I don't know, did I just not hold it in the ignition switch long enough? That all should be good. Let's try it again. Clear! No. Won't start. Man, I don't know. Let's... Maybe we need to prime it a couple times. It's cold weather. Turn it to boost. Let's give it another bump. Oh, the mixture cut. That's bizarre. That's exactly why. That's really weird. The mixture cut off, I guess, when it synced up, because it was at full rich initially. And I guess maybe when it synced with the controller, because my mixture control's on the other. So what that all will do is the engine will run, it will burn the fuel in the tubes, and then it'll just stop. Yeah, we should be good to go now. Alright, third time's the charm. Clear! Alright, there we go. Engine's running. Can pull back a little bit on the... And here we go. The throttle jumping all over the place like it shouldn't. Alright. Oil pressure. Yeah, it's a little low. It's cold. Alternator switches can come on. We'll go ahead and turn the nav lights on. Avionics on. These will come up. And our flight plan should be all loaded up. Another indicator. Oil pressure is low. Or no, it's actually high. It's at the top of the green end to the bottom of this yellow, and the reason for that is because it's thicker, just because of the cold temperature. So it'll back off a little bit here. That all looks good. Landing light, ice light, pitot heat can come on. Let's get that warmed up. We'll need that for takeoff. Without pitot heat, if it iced over, we would not get an airspeed indication. And that can obviously be a problem. They do have backups. They have static ports that you can use, such as, but I'd rather not have to mess with all that right now. Alright. I think this guy's gonna need to move if he doesn't want to get hit. Of course, these objects don't render collisions. We'll actually go ahead and leave the boost pump on. We would normally switch it. But let's actually just do the run-up right here, because it's a very short taxi out. So, oh, little too much power there. Let's back off. At about 1700 on the RPM. Let's see, mixture is full rich. Yeah, that'll work there. Quick mag check. Good drop, back to both. Both mags are functioning properly. Engine instruments are all in the green. Oil pressure has dropped a little bit, which is good. Temperature is starting to rise. We're up in the green. CHT and EGT temperatures are all looking good. When you have cold weather operations, you have to pay a little extra attention to those things. But it's doing fine. Let's go ahead and turn the cabin heat on. Yeah, we'll do that for now. I don't think that really affects anything, but... Alright. Now, everything's good. Let's go ahead and back off on the power. And quick flight control check. Rudder is good. Elevator is good. Ailerons are good. Set flaps to half. Alright. Flaps half confirmed left and right. Let's go ahead, release the park and brake, and get ready to taxi. And oh, we start moving fast because the engine jumped up again. Let's go ahead. We gotta kind of tap the brakes a little bit to make this sharper turn here. This is absolutely beautiful. There's just a dusting of snow on the ground. The trees have some snow. This is really nice. I mean, you can still almost pretty much see the grass. Alright, and I'm going to stop right here. Set the park and brake, and let's just check a couple things. First thing I'm going to do is pull a... Well, actually, it's going to be the flight tracker thing, so you all can see. Let me just get that configured real fast. PAPR Prospect Creek to PARC, which is Arctic Village. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Landing 0 feet per minute. Well, that's a good thing that we were stationary on the ground. Best landing ever. Alright. Now we've got that pulled up. I do want to look and see what the wind cone. And here it is. Kind of gotta zoom a little bit. And the wind is actually going this direction. So we are set to take off with a left turn and fly that way. Let's go ahead, release the park and brake, taxi out. And this plane gets airborne pretty fast. I don't think we'll need to back taxi. And this is also actually the direction that we're going to be flying, so that's kind of nice. Alright, let's get lined up here. I believe this runway is gravel. Alright, now hold the brakes. So we get a timer here. I'm actually going to use this today. As soon as we get airborne, I'll set that off. Wheels up. Alright. Brakes are held. We're going to go full power. Full power set. Engine instruments are all good. Indicators look good. Let's go ahead and release the brakes. Airspeed's alive. Looking for 77 knots. We'll rotate. There's 70. 78. Oh, come on! This plane didn't get airborne until like 91 knots. And you know what? I think part of that, if you noticed, it looked like the runway started going uphill right about the point that we tried to rotate. Positive rate, we're at 101. We can bring the flaps up. We can pitch up a little bit. Ah, that is beautiful. Look at that. I never get sick of these views, especially, I mean, they only get even better in the winter. And I forgot to hit the timer start. We can clear it. Let's go ahead and turn. Going a little bit fast. And I think we can actually go ahead and engage the autopilot.
Engaging autopilot.
Yeah, that's set. Nav is set to GPS. It'll track and intercept. So we're looking good. Flaps are up. I forgot to turn the landing lights on when we took off, but that's alright. Nav and strobe lights are on. No de-icing required. Flaps are up. We'll leave the boost pump on for now. And yeah, so here we go. Look at that. This is the Dalton Highway that runs from Fairbanks up to Prudhoe Bay. I'm pretty sure. Runs right past Prospect Creek. Coldfoot is the next airport up here. And I mentioned that. So Prospect Creek, right here where we took off from. And there's a little... There's some small facilities out there. Interestingly, too, Prospect Creek holds the record for the lowest temperature in the state and in the U.S. at minus 80 Fahrenheit. And I believe that is minus... minus 62 Celsius, I believe. And for a long time, it was actually Fort Yukon, which also holds the highest temperature. It held the lowest until Prospect Creek beat it out. Back out over this way. Coldfoot should be not too far from here, kind of further up a little bit. Yeah, you can see where the snow's getting thicker. And a little more patchy. Back that way. Oh man, I love that view. This is just... See, and we got, like, yesterday when we did our flight from Central over to Dawson with the mountains just kind of snow-capped. That was a little bit of a teaser. This is pretty much the true Winter Mountain experience. But there's enough sunlight to where it's actually light and not just looking like twilight. Yeah, I mean, look, it's 2 in the afternoon Alaska time, and just the sun is not high up. It really isn't. Got back that way. Let's go into the cockpit here. Take a look at a couple things. I'll go ahead and pull the map up. And so here's Prospect Creek where we took off. Bettles is back that way, kind of out in the flatland. And Coldfoot, we can actually look and see it. And then there's Wiseman, Chandeleur Shelf, Galbraith Lake. Yeah, that is the Dalton Highway, as a matter of fact. 100%. Because it runs up through there. And Prudhoe Bay is right up here. We're going to Arctic Village, which is straight north of Fort Yukon. We're going to be flying kind of over the southern portion of the Brooks Range. We'll be going pretty much right over Chandeleur Lake. It'll be just off to our left. We'll get a good view of that, I'd say. And it's about the halfway point. Not quite, but pretty close to it. And then from Fort Yukon, of course, these are the White Mountains. This is kind of where we were yesterday. And then Fairbanks. So we're pretty far north. We are just a little bit above the Arctic Circle right now, and then of course Arctic Village is way above the circle. So yeah, that's the route. Really not going to be too much in terms of like towns or airports or stuff, you know. It's just going to be beautiful snow-capped mountains and some lakes. So yeah. I believe the whoops, I'm a little jittery on the mouse, but I believe can't see it 100% right now, but I believe Coldfoot is up here. Here or there. And then of course it's a little bit flatter out over that way as you get closer. I mean, you can really see the kind of the Yukon flats out this way. Fairbanks is out back that way. Maybe kind of further back here. But just look at that. I don't think you get too much better in terms of views than that. Well, I mean, it depends on your preference, of course. Looks like we're getting into a little bit of light turbulence. That's not too bad. Thousand feet to go to cruise. Minus 31 Celsius up here, so it's about minus 24 Fahrenheit. So it's not quite as cold as it was yesterday. But we're also... I think we cruised at 19,000 yesterday. Yeah, so yeah, about 2,000 feet lower, so... Alright, there we are. Let's go ahead, and I actually forgot to pull the mixture back. But, let's go ahead and pull the throttle back. Hope it cooperates. Yeah, no. 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 Let's try that again. This is getting to be a real pain in the butt. I think that is about as good as we're going to get it for right now if it continues to stick. So let's lean it. We're looking for peak RPM. That's going to be about 20 gallons per hour. Back a little bit, and we hit 90 right there. That is going to be peak right there. Alright, that's good. So we leave that set as is, don't touch. And, yeah. So we can zoom out on the map a little bit. Okay. So here's Chandeleur Lake, and that's the airport that you can see. Coldfoot's going to be right off our left wing now. So we actually get a better view of that. May have to go out here and look. Oh, just look at that. That's just pretty. And I want to say I think I've flown out of Coldfoot before. So maybe that right there, or it's back here. I can't remember. Can't remember off the top of my head, but no, maybe is it this right here? I think it's that. I don't know. Oh well, not a big deal. If you zoom in over here, you can see Chandeleur Lake. Arctic Village is going to be kind of up here, pretty much as the mountain pass. Or not the mountain pass, the mountain range kind of curves. So if we pull the map up, I think I may have pointed this out the first time I flew out of Arctic Village. This is the Brooks Range. You can see the lighter kind of green and then yellowish kind of orange tan. So the Brooks Range, this is basically the border of Alaska and the Yukon Territory. Up here, the Brooks Range comes almost up to the coast. and then it curves and kind of comes southbound, and then it kind of whittles out a bit out to the west. So, an Aktuvik Pass right here is on the north side, pretty much, of the range. Arctic Village is at the same latitude, but it's at the south side of the range, as it curves there. And it's going to be pretty flat out this direction. And you'll see as we get closer to Chandelar Lake, if you look the opposite direction, you're looking right out into the Yukon Flats. So yeah. This may not be quite the most interesting route in terms of scenery and, you know, stuff like that, whatnot, but I would imagine it to be hopefully pretty enough and enjoyable enough to the eye. And I think I want another cup of coffee. Had a headache most of the day, and it's actually finally starting to go away after I took some medicine and had a cup of coffee, but now I just want more coffee. Actually, the weather down south today, around Anchorage, the Kenai Peninsula, and toward Kodiak, I don't think it's quite as good there. But I know around Anchorage and Kenai and stuff, it's quite nice. So I might do a recording. Or a recording. A recorded flight later. We'll see. No guarantees. So I've got a fair bit of stuff I'm kind of working on around the house and some other stuff I need to take care of, but it's always a possibility. Telling you, yesterday was my first flight after 2 months, pretty much exactly. It's 2 months and a day. And I really did miss it. I've been doing a lot of other stuff. But I really did miss it. And glad to be back up in the air. Of course, we've got about 3.5 weeks until Flight Sim 24 comes out, then we're just going to be doing more of this, and it's just going to look even better. Oh hey, fuel imbalance. Always forget to do that. Switch tanks, and we can go ahead and turn the boost pump off. That should clear. It may take a couple minutes to clear, but that's not too bad. Yesterday, I remembered, I was impressed that I did after not flying for so long. But, yeah. Let's just take a look outside. I mean, this is beautiful to me. And I know everybody's preferences are different, but I personally love flying in the mountains on Flight Sim. So here's the lake. This is the Chandeleur River that actually runs down and empties out to the Yukon further back here. These are the flats. And if you zoom in, I think you can actually maybe make just enough of it out. I don't know. It's kind of tough to see though. Oh, that fuel imbalance still hasn't cleared. Yeah. Well, got up to make my coffee and forgot to switch the fuel tanks. Ah, well. That happens. Alright, got my hot cup of coffee. And, I do want to fly in some different places in Alaska here, coming up. I think I mentioned this yesterday, but, it's getting to be summertime in Polynesia, so I imagine we'll go back down there to do some flights. May do some at different places in the US, like I've done in the past. Southeast, the Southwest. We could go somewhere new as well. And there were a couple quite popular locations. And I'm actually pretty excited for the Vision Jet in Flight Sim 24. I think we're going to fly that a bit. We're going to go a little higher. It's going to be similar to the Cirrus jet, or to the Cirrus SR22 that I'm flying now. Alright, that is cleared. We're just about a 40% of the way. A pretty view. I mean, these mountains here with the snow, they almost look like just big sand dunes, almost like carved by the wind. And in a way, I guess that's kind of what mountains are, just over a long period of time. Yeah, alright, yeah, if you take a look out that direction, you can see it just flattens until terrain starts to rise, and that's the White Mountains. It's kind of around the central Circle Hot Springs area. That's where we took off from yesterday. So we're not all too far removed from that. Central would probably be in this plane. Still a good half-hour flight over there. Half-hour flight. Yeah, we're just under halfway. But yeah, oh, take a look at that. Beautiful view of the lake. Airport's right here, of course. A couple other lakes kind of tucked back within some of these mountains. But I think Chandelar Lake is one of the more prominent ones in terms of size and the fact that it has an airport. And its shape. Making good time. Just a 10 knot tailwind component. The actual wind is about 12 knots. So it's gentle, but we're making good progress. And out up that way is going to be roughly Adigan Pass, Galbraith Lake, which are along the Dalton Highway. That's the road that runs from Fairbanks to Prudhoe Bay. That's the road that we saw right when we took off. And Aktuvik Pass is out that way. Arctic Village, of course, is where we're going, so it's going to be straight up ahead. And then Fort Yukon should be out kind of here, probably a little further. It's definitely tough to see just because of the haze, or maybe not even really haze, but just glare from the sun. Could be a little haze. But yeah. Yep, we've passed the halfway point here. And this is saying about 19 minutes. We're 17,000. And I believe the airport elevation. Let me check the chart. I believe Arctic Village is about 1,800 feet. Nope, actually more. 2,092. And I just looked on the chart. The other place we could look is in here. Pull up the map, click on the airport, and this says 2,085. The sectional chart that I was looking at on SkyVector says 2,092, but what's the difference? 7 feet. Alright, here's our weather. Wind calm, 10 miles visibility, clear skies, minus 17, and the altimeter 2977. So let's go ahead and adjust this. We don't set standard pressure because we were below 18,000 feet. 2977, there we go. And it's actually going to have us climb. That's a difference of about 150, 160 feet that we had set. And we are about 17 minutes out. And we need to descend about 15,000 feet to the airport. So that means we're going to start our descent very soon. So what we're going to do, because the wind is calm, we're going to shoot a straight-in approach. That'll be the prettier of the two, I believe, with the mountains in the background. So we'll actually just set this visual runway 2. load. Let's take a look. Let's check the configuration of the... yeah, it's got us doing that weird turn and intercept here. That just doesn't make much sense. So we're going to set the course direct to that straight fix. That'll also give us enough time to set up on a good final approach. Let's actually pull this back up. Set direct, activate. Alright, we need to turn VNav on. That way we don't have the same issue that we did yesterday. What happened was we passed the point top of descent, and it wouldn't descend because VNav was not activated. So we had to control our descent rate manually. Now we're coming up on the point here pretty soon. So let's real quickly check safe altitudes on the map. 65, 57, and 68 right around the airports. 6105 is further north on the map, above our track. Along our actual route, I see nothing above 5,000, so we'll actually go ahead and set it to 5,500. Keep our 500 foot. Plus some, actually. A little bit of a buffer. So that way we'll never be less than 500 feet above any terrain that we fly over. Let's check this again. VNav is on, FLC is off. That should automatically come on. In case not, we... actually may not need it on. I think it automatically will kick on. Or descent rate takes over. Throttle setting is just a tiny bit high. It actually kind of leveled out. And yeah, that's what I did. I touch it and it starts jumping all over the place. I mean, it ended up kind of peaking out a little bit high. We wanted the peak to be right about 30.5, 30.6. It was running a little closer to 31 than it should have. You wouldn't think, well, what's 2 or 3 extra % or something like they're tenths. Actually can mean a bit. It's not significant, but it's something you keep an eye on. All right, we've started our descent into Arctic Village. I'm gonna pull the power back to about 35%. We'll see what the speed does. It's at 37% right now, and it is slowing down. So that's stable. So we'll actually go ahead and set that and leave it. And our speed is stable at about 157, which I'm happy with. Look at that, that's pretty. It's about 2 in the afternoon, at 2:30, yeah, 2:30 in the afternoon or so, a little after that, up here in Arctic Village, actually in the entire state of Alaska, except the furthest west Aleutian Islands that are beyond Hawaii. And, you know, I'm actually curious. I think the sunset is probably around like 4. I could tell you. Nope, about 5. And the sunrise is 9:30 in the morning. Okay. Cold there. It's gonna be minus 10 tonight. That's Fahrenheit. It's about minus 24 Celsius, and then it gets up to about 10 Fahrenheit. It's about minus 12. So. And this town doesn't get sunlight for a couple months. Of course, the sun doesn't rise for, I think, about 4 weeks. I'd have to pull that back up and look. I think it's about 4 weeks that the sun doesn't rise right around the winter solstice, and you just have polar night, polar twilight, I should say. And on the days the sun does rise, it doesn't even really make it high enough above the terrain to actually light up and warm the... Alright, let's take a look around. And a nice view out there. Yukon Flats out that way. Now, I can't remember what the name of the river that runs my Arctic Village is. Let me pull the chart back up and see. It's gonna be on there. Oh! Oh, it's the East Fork of the Chandeleur River. And I think the West Fork is the one that actually goes into the lake. Or the North Fork is what it says. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, wow, okay. So yeah, you can kind of see the river start to wind around up there. Zoom in and take a look. Airport, I believe, is here. It's a little tough to see for sure. But you can kind of see the way the river runs. And then you get back up this way, you get kind of deeper into the actual mountain range. Fuel balance is good. Mixture's at the bottom of the green, so we don't need to lean it yet. Or enrich in it, I should say. Yeah, and it looks like we're on a pretty good track. Yeah, I think this is the airport there. Might be a little bit further back. Starting to get a little bit of light turbulence just coming down. This is the mountain range, basically. As the air moves over the mountains, it's disrupted, of course. Causes a little bit. They call that mountain wave turbulence. And it's different from different types like convective turbulence. You get that when the air is rising, forming clouds. You get that a lot in summertime in warm places. I mean, you get it all year in areas that tend to stay warm. You can get turbulence associated with fronts, clear air. Mountain wave is pretty common when you're flying around mountains in lowish elevations. So if you're way above them, you're not really going to get much. But if you're just barely above them, kind of like we are here, where we're 1, 2, 3,000 feet above these mountains, you'll feel it a little bit. Alright. Take a look. We're still at the bottom of the green, so we're good there. Flaps are up. Don't need to switch fuel tanks, and let's go ahead and get ready for our arrival in Arctic Village. And we're low enough now to where you really can't see out to the flats. That's pretty right there. We can zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, here's the airport right here. The actual town is up here, but it's not really well represented in the simulator. It's the satellite imagery at the time was not clear, so Microsoft, they generally have done a pretty good job of kind of generating scenery in areas where there was not good satellite coverage for imagery. But now there is, and it's clearly lacking. And that's no fault of their own, of course. They worked with what they had. We need to continue our descent here. We can actually pretty much fly this by hand. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and back the power off, and we're just gonna fly in by hand. Let's get this set up. A couple things for landing configuration. Landing lights are on. Don't need half flaps yet. Let's just go mixture full rich now, so we don't forget. We usually do that a little bit lower. Back off on the power a little bit more. We don't want to get too fast yet. Yeah, see, look at that. Sun's getting low, and I mean, you can, like, just the southern or the northern side of these mountains looking south, they're just dark because the sunlight's not hitting them. And actually, let's go in here and let's just activate vector to final. And that'll give us a line to fly. Just to follow. And we'll follow it by hand, and then we'll still have the little diamond right here. Give us our indication of our vertical descent rate, glide path and such. So we're looking good. We can actually put a little bit of power in. And just look at the shadows running from this. And over here we are not above the tree line. You get kind of some really nice thick boreal forests. I need to trim just a little bit. Let's get lined up here. Nice gentle headwinds, little bit of a left crosswind component, not much. This is nice. We're actually pretty well configured. Need to back off a little bit on the power here. We're only a couple miles out. We're actually going to go ahead, go half flaps. We're going to go now. And then we can do full flaps below 110. See where the white line stops at 110. That's your full flaps extended. And then you just have to know what your half flaps speed, which is 150, although I generally prefer to avoid lowering them above 140. Just as a bit of a buffer. Right, we are actually high, so I am going to... Oh, we're a little fast. Let's bring that back up. Alright, there we go. You know, 110, if you lower those flaps at 112, it's probably not a big deal, but what you don't want to do is lower them at like 120, or you'll actually risk overstressing the flaps and you'll cause structural damage to the aircraft. And I've actually seen the effects of that in real life. I was not flying the plane at the time. I actually have not flown that plane at all, but I saw it on the ground after it had been damaged. And the flaps had to be replaced. It's expensive and takes the plane out of service and kind of upsets the owner and everybody that would like to take lessons or rent the plane that can't because somebody didn't follow the proper procedures and screwed it up. Now, we are a little bit high. Gonna take the power out, so we're just gonna drop it a little bit here. Get the VASI that's saying high, so when those outer lights turn red, we know we'll be good. If both sets turn red, then we're low. And we're confirmed full flaps. There's red over white. And that matches our glide indicator. Now we're a little low, not too bad. Just level off, there we go. We'll continue it nice and easy to the ground. Add just a little burst of power. And yeah, gravel, and this is not even again. Yeah, let's just try to hold it up a little bit there. Plus 42, because we landed on the uphill. But that was a smooth landing, so that was pretty good. We're gonna roll. We'll bring the flaps up. And we'll just roll down to the end. The parking area is down to the end. And that was right at about a 46 minutes, 47 in the air. So we did hit that a little bit late. Alright. Turn off at the end, and I'm not even 100% sure. Yeah, I think it's up there. Yeah, it is. A lot of different kind of places that you can go. I think in the real world this is grass, not... It may be gravel. We'll go back up this way. What is this? Oh, it's just like a raised hill right here. Wow. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. What a beautiful place to stop and park the plane. And we'll take a look in a moment. Alright, parking brake is set. Let's go through, cut these off. Flaps are up. Alright, let's go ahead, cut the mixture. Cut the ignition off. Strobe lights, nav lights off. Avionics off. 47 minutes and it says Arctic Village in the vicinity. I landed at the airport, come on. Credited me for the landing. Alternator switches, magnetos are off. Battery switch is off, plane is shut down. Boost pump is off, flaps are up, and we are good. And just look at that view. I mean, look at the sun, it's very low. And you get this beautiful view of these trees, and then the mountains in the background, some mountains here in the foreground. And yeah, I do believe this is the parking area. It has to be. There's just like nothing really around. It's just all auto-gen though. And then the village is actually... The village proper is back up this way. It's past the airport there. And again, it isn't really well represented because of the auto-gen terrain and everything. I believe Flight Sim 24 will have that corrected. And this is one of the prettier locations. I love flying into and out of an Aktuvik Pass. This is a pretty area as well. Just really like the northern interior of the state. And you can see the crescent moon right there. Alright folks, that's going to do it for this flight. I hope you enjoyed it. And now I may do another one later on, record it and upload it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope to catch you on the next one. And as always, until then, take care, stay safe, we'll see ya.